Welcome back. I hope you all had a wonderful spring break, and thank you all for being here on this absolutely gorgeous day. I hope you get to enjoy it after the meeting. I just have a few quick announcements, and then we'll let our speaker come up and talk. On the back of your agenda is a flyer for the Leaders Institute. The Leaders Institute is open to juniors and seniors this year. I went last year, and so I would highly encourage you to attend. I learned a lot while I was there. I met a lot of great people while I was there, and so hopefully you'll take advantage of that. And it's hosted by the VSDPA, and it is free for you other than transportation there. So if you are interested in participating, I believe Professor Spurrier or Dr. Z would help you out with the recommendation if you needed it.
Yeah, I've gone the last 2 years, and it really is. It's just a leg up on finding some jobs.
Yes, Dan.
While we're talking about leadership conferences, Gabby actually got selected for the Dixon Hughes Goodman Leadership Conference.
Congratulations, Gabby. Gabby will be going to, is it Orlando?
It was in Charleston.
Oh, Charleston. Well,
Charleston,
fantastic.
South Carolina.
Congratulations, Gabby. The admitted student day that we need volunteers for, there were a couple of you that emailed me in regards to how to sign up. It is now posted on Blackboard. So if you would like to help on that Saturday, it's up there so you can go ahead and sign up. The Ag World Hockey Game Social is next Friday, so if you haven't already signed up, please be sure to do that. The sign up for that is also on Blackboard, and we'll be sending out an email before too terribly long.
It was the 30th?
It is not next Friday, it is the 30th. I apologize.
A week from next Friday.
It's March, my weeks seem to be running together, so I apologize. Next week will be the deadline for nominations if you are interested in being an officer. So if you are interested, please email me, let me know, or if there's somebody that you think would make a great officer, please nominate them, and then I will talk with them and see if they're interested in doing so. And then the following week, on the 29th, we'll actually do the elections for it.
About the roundtable.
We'll do it next week. I just have to schedule a time for it when all of us can get together. So. Also for community service, tonight is the WHRO, so just be there at 7 o'clock, and when you get there, there's actually a volunteer entrance for those of you who haven't been there. You will be on television tonight, so you'll want to make sure that you're still wearing your business professional clothing. Michael Justin Clark has put up a variety of other community service events, including the Girl Scout cookie quote audit. And you actually need to click on that to get information, and then you can go through and sign up for whichever shift that you want. I believe it's only 1 or 2 people per shift over a 2-week period. So please be sure to read the directions for that really, really well.
The volunteer entrance at WHR, is that the door on the side?
When you're in the parking lot, there's a main entrance looking here, and then you'll be on your right a little farther down. You'll see like a little intercom on there.
Okay.
And it says volunteer entrance
Okay.
on that door as well. So, and then there will be a couple of other community service events that are coming up. So if you haven't quite gotten your points, don't worry. We will have other opportunities as the semester progresses. So does anybody have any questions, any other announcements that they would like to give before we move on? Nope. Okay. Well, I will let Matt introduce our speaker today.
All right, well, it is my honor to introduce Laszlo Schneider. He's a manager in audit at KPMG here in Norfolk. And he originally got his master's in economics at the University of Hungary. And he is a Hungarian native. And he is here in Norfolk on a 5-year rotation with KPMG. And he'll be here today to talk about IFRS, the Big Four, and professional development. So it's my honor to introduce Mr. Laszlo Schneider.
Thanks, man. Hello, everyone. Well, if you understand it, you haven't read it properly. These were the words of Sir David Tweedy, who is the chairman of the International Accounting Standards Board, regarding the old IAS 39 standards regarding financial instruments. Right now, the IASB is working together with the FASB on a joint project on financial instruments to develop the new IFRS standard for financial instruments. And really the statement from the chair supports the fact how much there is a need for a high quality standard, for a high quality global standard, not only over financial instruments, but all over all areas of financial reporting systems. That is basically one of the most commonly discussed topics these days, how the SEC will decide on incorporating IFRS into the US financial reporting system. And therefore, we're going to discuss in today's presentation a few comment letters, reports that the SEC is currently discussing on what the process might be and how the potential convergence might take place. Hello everyone, my name is Laszlo Schneider, as Matt said. I'm working for the KPMG Norfolk office. I'm on a long-term rotation right now. I started to work in the Budapest office in Hungary. I was mainly working on IFRS clients back at home. I was working there for 4 years before coming to the US in 2009. And I'm mainly focusing on IFRS and GAAP clients here as well. So with that being said, let's jump to today's agenda real quick. I'm just going to summarize briefly the SAC work plan on the incorporation of IFRS right now, what the prospects are, what is the so-called endorsement approach, and we're going to talk about it later in more detail, what the current FASB, IASB projects are, a couple of SEC staff papers, staff accounting reports, including a comparison of US GAAP and IFRS. And then we're going to move a little bit towards what's the involvement of KPMG within that, what's our professional role, and we're going to go through the example of IAS 19, which is a pension standard under IFRS, and what practical implications the changes in this standard involved, and what KPMG's role is in these changes and serving our clients. And finally, I'm just going to do a brief introduction of KPMG and as well KPMG in Norfolk, and we're going to close today's presentations with a Q&A session. So basically, this SEC work plan that I'm going to first talk about is focusing on 6 main areas, and really it's just the first one that is focusing on the quality of the standards that will be implemented, and the points 2 through 6 really focus on how we are going to get there. And I guess that's where today's debate is mainly focusing on right now, on the answers giving to the question how we're going to incorporate it. And there's various views on that, especially in a cost-benefit perspective, what type of cost companies will need to, or they may incur to do the adoption of IFRS, depending on whether it's going to be a traditional first-time adoption, a staged completion, or any other method. So basically, this staff work plan is writing up these 4 potential ways of incorporating IFRS into the US financial reporting framework. The first 2 are kind of in the back burner right now, the full adoption of IFRS on a specified date. Maybe if we raised this question a couple of years ago, most of people would say that that's going to be a likely outcome. It doesn't seem to be that likely right now based on the staff report, as well as not the following stage transitions. So probably it's going to be at this point somewhere.
We just go back and open the PowerPoint.
Somewhere between the 3rd and the 4th options. So, the optional adoption or the condorsement. So, what is condorsement? It's really not a word, it's a combination of 2 words. It's the convergence plus the endorsement that would follow this convergence process. So, if we divide it up into 2 strategies, in the first phase, in the convergence stage, there would be the completion of the current IASB and FASB joint projects, which we're going to talk about in a minute. what these are and what the priorities are right now, which would be followed by the so-called endorsement strategy, which would be bringing the rest of the IFRS standards into the U.S. financial reporting framework. And an interesting point might be that even as of today, if we would compare financial statements of certain companies in certain industries under IFRS and under US GAAP, we might find some cases where the differences are not even that significant or that obvious. And the goal would be that after the convergence phase of this project, these similarities would be even greater. We would even see less differences before even the endorsement strategy takes place. But again, it really depends on the industry and the company that we're talking about. So what are currently the big ISB, FASB joint projects? It used to be 11 significant projects now. Now they are really focusing on 4: revenue recognition, financial instruments, leases, and insurance, very important one. They kind of set aside the financial instruments with the characteristics of equity and the presentation joint project. So it's kind of uncertain right now whether, when, or if this project will be completed. And there are some other minor ones as well. The next paper I'm going to talk about is the staff paper exploring one possible method to incorporate IFRS into the US financial reporting system. And this possible method is really following the endorsement approach and emphasizing that it might be a possible way to incorporate IFRS into the US system. The staff paper